I'm Lee Spencer with the Racing Boys. I'm with Joey Logano and wanted to ask you about Loudon and what are your expectations for that race with the new package? Do you think that things are going to change? Is it going to look like Phoenix, or do you think with your 2 wins there, you'll persevere regardless?
Well, we're going to try to persevere no matter what. No matter what the rules package is, we're going to try to win. Sorry, I'm just not sure how the race is going to be quite yet. It's probably going to look a lot like Phoenix did, where you're going to have some pretty aggressive moves on restarts, and that's where a lot of your passing is going to be on restarts, and I think after that it's going to be very challenging to pass. So it's going to be a strategy race like we've seen at Loudon before. Loudon's one of those racetracks where it's hard to pass, so you sometimes see cars take 2 tires or no tires on when they have the opportunity to do it. But it also wears tires out, so more than Phoenix does. So tires have an effect, but clean air has a great effect too. So at what point, are you willing to take the lumps by putting 4 tires on? Will you make those up, right? That's the question you have to ask all the time. Will I make up those spots that I lose by putting 4 on? And with this rules package, how much does that change it? And I think that's where the race really starts at Loudon for sure.
Kyle Busch said it's just impossible to pass there. Is there any place that you say, kind of almost like a road course, is this could be a passing point if I set the guy up right?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely passing moments. When cars are too wide, that presents a heck of a moment to go 3 wide, and there's room to do it. You see plenty of slide jobs, especially in a turn 3. It seems like it's pretty open to the preferred lanes, the second lane, sometimes the third lane, so you can go way down to the bottom and try to make something happen, especially on restarts. There's a lot of opportunity there, which will be down there, guarantee it. I believe there'll be the PJ1 that'll be put down there like there was in the past. I would assume that's going to have a play and an effect on how the race is played out. So, I mean, is it challenging in the past? Of course it is. It's hard, but it's not impossible.
With that being a home track, is there a sense of pride when you win there more so than other places? I know, the guys aren't supposed to have favorite tracks, but that is a home game for you.
Oh, there's nothing like winning at your home track. There's nothing like it. When I think of big wins in my career, I got to think of Miami last year, right? Where I was probably number 1, 2, probably Daytona 500. 3 is winning our second race in Loudon, right? Where we had a car that was capable of winning, and it is a very challenging racetrack for me too, as personally as a driver, to try to get my head wrapped around. So being able to conquer what was my hardest track, but more importantly my home track, meant a lot to me. So where I stacked that up, there was really one of the biggest wins, probably the 3rd biggest win of my career.
Steve Felt mentioned in his meeting with the media today that he's been talking to the drivers about tires, and you mentioned tires at Loudon, and tires have been kind of hit or miss, and not to throw Goodyear under the bus because they've got a challenging job to do, but looking forward at Gen 7, what's the ideal tire for Joey Logano?
Yeah, I think everybody here will say they want a tire that has fall off. You want a consistent tire that wears out, where the driver and teams have the ability to adjust on their car, to have a short run car or a long run car, or or how hard you're willing to push to pay the penalty in the long run. We want fall off, and I think that's probably the biggest thing we look for, which is funny because as a tire company, you don't want that, right? You want your tires to last a long time. If your tires last longer than competitors, you become the number 1 tire brand, right? So it's kind of the opposite of what a street tire is looking for. So I think that part is always challenging to try to reach, and you have the durability piece that we have to have, right? We don't want to have tires blowing out. Those hurt a lot. I don't want to go through that. So you kind of have durability set as number 1, and then number 2 you look for fall off, and a lot of it is not. A lot of it's not even up to Goodyear on how they can do this. A lot of us attract the texture of the racetrack. You have older surfaces that are not as smooth, right? They're not like a shop floor or concrete floor. They have a lot of grainy and rocks and stuff in it, and it acts as a cheese grater to your tire. Well, look, then you're going to have more fall off, right? And it's just how it works. More tires wear out more. when you go to tracks that are smooth like Michigan and that don't wear tires much, because it's like you're running on something that's really not grinding the rubber off the car. It's that simple. It's not like the tire is that different. It's just different texture, and I think that's gonna be hard for them to try to wrap their heads around and try to fix. But I think they've done a good job at trying to look at ways outside the box, a dual compound tire and things like that, and try to find something like that.
Appreciate your time, champ.
All right, thanks.